Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. We're going to paint an American robin. I do know, well actually I learned from all of the soccer tournaments and everybody visiting America that there are differences in robins across the world, and that they said that our robins in America look very scary. Now, I don't think they look scary, but they are much larger than the European robins. So we're going to paint one today, and I thought it would be fun to see the differences. Um, I don't really know much of the differences, so we'll have to look as we go. Um, but they are fearsome, and there's a story with that. So what I'm going to use for the back is Payne's Gray with a mix of burnt sienna. Yes, Payne's Gray, burnt sienna. It depends. If it's a female, they have a little bit more brown in them. The males have a little bit more black in them. So we're just going to kind of go in between. And then the chest is usually made of a very like a burnt orange. So I used burnt sienna again and some cadmium red from Winsor Newton, which is a very orange red. So it's a perfect color, and you'll see. And then for the beak, it's a little bit more on the yellow side. I just used a Hansa yellow. I think it was Hansa yellow. I'll double check on that one. And then I'll use Payne's Gray for the eyeball. There's some white around the eye there, and then there's going to be some white feathers down here in their derriere. And then I am going to use one brush. Well, I take that back. I'm going to use my round 8, and then I'm also going to use this my famous 0 that I will use for the eyeball. That's it. We're going to make this as easy as we can. Easy, simple, quick strokes. So let's start. I have my brush loaded with Payne's Gray and burnt sienna, and I'm just going to, so it's very saturated. I'm going to give it a little tap on a paper towel to get off puddles of water, so it's not just soaked. And from the shoulder line, I'm just going to come down and bring some featherish strokes. So I'm putting my brush tip down and I'm lifting. Oh, don't curve it. I'm lifting as I go. We're going to make a few layers, so if it is too thick, that's fine. Don't worry. And if it goes over your lines, that's okay. We don't have to color in the lines. My sister taught me that. She didn't teach me that. She taught her pre-K class that when she first started teaching. Who said we ever had to color within the lines? And just wisp in little lines, because there are layers of feathers on their wing and then also on their tail. I want to show you what I'm going to do with that, but for the tail, I'm using one brush for this whole thing. It's super cool the way it turns out. I've done the robin, I've painted the robin a few times, and I think I really enjoy painting this bird the most. Seems pretty straightforward to me. And for the head, I'm going to start out with just a light wash of the same color, but I'm also going to be kind of light-handed around the neck because there are some white feathers right under the chin. So I'm going to use the very tip of my brush and just feather it in there. I probably went too heavy there, but that's okay. It is okay. This is a light color. You'll see as we come back in, it's not going to matter. And around his eye, I'm going to feather it in a little bit. I'm going to take off some of that paint on the towel. There we go. That's better. Because I want the white feathers to show, and white in watercolor is the paper. Yes, so those will be white feathers right there. No paint. Okay, And then this will all be the orange, and we'll build all of this up. And you can see it's already dried. This is my Amazon special, Amazon Prime Day sketchbook. So it soaks it up very quickly, which I have to adjust my timing to. So I'll try not to talk too much while I'm doing this. All right, I loaded up again. Same wash. A little bit heavier saturation. So the story behind this bird, they are in my backyard all the time. They love when I they love when I spray the backyard with the hose. As soon as I start to water my grass, they come flying in because they know it's worm time. It's the funniest thing. And they'll call all their friends and make the call to like, hey, she's watering the grass and the worms are going to be easy to get. Come on. And they do. So for the tips of the wing feathers, I'm going to use my brush and I'm just going to tap and let the brush do the work. Don't have to be fancy because it's the exact shape of this robin. I wouldn't say every bird I can do that with, but certainly the robin has the same shape. And that's just the perfect circular shape that you need. I think I'll come down here and do some here. I'm also going to darken my Payne's Gray a little bit more pigment in there. Come down here, do the same thing. So today, why am I painting him today? Well, one, because I think they're about ready to migrate back to warmer weather or cooler weather. I'm not sure. Wherever they're going, they've been here a while, and I think it's almost time for them to go. That's my shaky hand. Which is normal. Their songs are beautiful in the morning, and I will miss them. But that's what they do. That's their nature. And they'll be on to greener pastures. And then when they leave, other birds will come in, and we'll talk about that when they get here. I'm just going to pepper in. I guess pepper, that's a good word, yeah? Because it's not really brushing. It's just kind of like dotting. And look at the way the feathers are. They're just kind of, it's like a malted look on the head. Lighter on top, that's where the sun is hitting. So for the past week, we have had another bird with probably a clutch of eggs, or maybe a nest full of babies, which you think, oh, that's so great. And it is. Anytime there's new life in the woods, it's wonderful. Except when it's a predator. So yes, the raptors have to eat too. And I have a resident hawk that has been hunting in this area for as long as I've lived here. And she has been adamant to get little baby birds. We'll just leave it at that. And I think today she succeeded. I know this. I'll play the video here and then be quiet. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That's supposed to be white feather. That's okay. She succeeded. I caught her on video. I walked down to the woods because I can hear the call, the warning call of the robins and other birds. Sometimes you'll have crows involved and everybody gets on board. Like every bird that is prey gets together and tries to shoo her off. And unfortunately, they did not win today. I added a little bit more burnt umber here. Just, I think she's a female. There we go. So she was screeching in the woods. I'm filming her, and then all of a sudden, and I know the hawk's back there. I know she is, so I'm waiting, patiently waiting with my camera in hopes also that my presence will scare the hawk off, which it usually does. She sees me, and sure enough, a couple minutes later, she goes swooping by with something in her talons. And that was it. The robins chased her and screeched after her, and I think they probably had something. And in my video, as you heard, they have to eat too. That's the unfortunate part about being someone who's an avid, I take an avid interest in wildlife. I love watching everybody just interact with each other and see how the babies grow, and I enjoy that part, but I also am not naive to know that, well, everybody has to eat and everybody has babies. So I think that was probably the robin's last nest, and she'll probably move on after that. So I thought I'd paint her. I'm going to do her belly first on the light wash. It's a little bit too much water, so I'm going to dry off my brush. That's the white paper under there. So the white feathers, we're going to just kind of feather line that in. Make it look like feathers as much as we can. Just with some lines. That's good. And then bring it up here. It'll stay lighter up here because this is where the sun is shining a little bit more. There we go. Like that. Okay. And then I'll get the darker value. Bring it down here where the shadows are under the belly. So to the visitors from the soccer match who said the American robins are terrifying, yeah, they're fierce protectors of their nest, and they're very, very loud. But whenever there is maybe a snake or a cat, they will let us know. There is no doubt about that. And they put the call out for all animals, which I think is amazing. But they make up for it in the morning with beautiful music, so it's worth it. And I think they're beautiful. Give them a little bit of lighting feathers. There we go. All right. I'll do another layer of a darker value here. You can see the granulating of the where I added the burnt sienna on the belly right there. That's kind of cool. I like that. Because if you look at the feathers in the picture, it actually is blotchy looking, so that's perfect. Okay, so let's come in and we're going to bring in some more Payne's Gray. I think I'll add a little bit of that burnt mixture from the belly just to keep the color cohesive. Bring harmony to your entire picture if you're painting a purple flower and you add purple to the green stem, it brings a little bit of flow and harmony that you may not notice specifically, but your eye will, your mind's eye will, and it's a beautiful thing. So here I'm gonna pay attention to where I'm going this way so I can keep track of the angle of her wing, or his wing. I don't want to mess that up. I'm gonna go over where I put the shape of these feathers again, just using my brush. And then I think down here, because this is much, much darker, this is the back wing. I'm just going to come in here and fill that in. That looks better. There. There we go. Usually, when I hear somebody screaming in here, it's because of that hawk. Baby. There she is. I knew it. Every time. Every single time. Sure, she's getting dinner. It's the hard part about living in the woods, is you get the beauty of it, and then also the tragedy, but and the hawk has to feed her chicks too, right? So the robin is gonna be sad, but she'll lay more eggs. and learn not to put her nest so high. I am adding the azo just a tad so it can blend in under the beak. We'll fix that up in a little bit, but just before it completely dried, I wanted to get that in there. Okay. All right, we're gonna let that all dry, and then we're gonna work on the branch that the robin is sitting on.